Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Inside Lowell podcast. I am your host, Teddy Panos, coming to you from the Inside Lowell studios here in beautiful, historic downtown Lowell. We have a special podcast for you tonight, today, this morning, whenever you're watching this. We're recording this Wednesday night, October 18th. Been a long week, folks. But tonight we have a candidates forum for you. Two candidates vying for the Lowell City Council, vying to represent District 7, the Acre District, are joining us here in our studios, and we're glad to have you with us, just as we are glad to have them with us as well. Left to right on your monitors, we have Fru Nkimbeng, the challenger in the race. Paul Ratha to the right. He is the incumbent, the first ever representative for the Acre under the new format. Good evening to both of you, and thank you for being here.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have both of you, and then I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. We've done one-on-one interviews before, but we get a chance to do a little comparing and contrasting here, and hopefully by the end of it, the voters who view this will have a better understanding of where you are on the issues and where you hope to lead the city for the one of you who is successful in November. So we're going to start with an opening statement, and I'm going to go alphabetically if you don't mind, and we'll start with you, Fru. Please introduce yourself and let us know your opening thoughts.
Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity from inside Lowell to talk to the people of Lowell and to talk especially to the people of District 7. Let me begin by saying thank you to Lowell, my home for 38 years. It is humbling, but in my heart, I know residents of District 7 are listening and watching because we all believe in what Lowell can be. In the face of insecurity, we believe there can be peace. In the face of despair, we believe there can be hope. And in the face of division, we believe there can be compromise. Let me tell you how I came here. Like, as most of you know, I am not a native of this great country. My name is Fru Nkimbeng. Like most Americans, I was born on the other shores. I was born in a city called Bamenda in Cameroon, Central Africa. My beloved parents died in an accident when I was only 7 years old, and God became my guardian angel. I moved to Lowell over 3 decades ago to attend college. I knew no one in Lowell was without money or family connections, but the good people of Lowell took me in and made me feel at home. My purpose running for city council is clear: to improve the lives of Lowell residents, particularly those in District 7. Living, studying, growing up, and working in Lowell, I learned that to whom much is given, much is expected. Lowell gave me an opportunity to acquire a good education. She also enabled me to start a family. I know I haven't spent a lot of time learning the ways of City Hall, but I have been here long enough to know that the ways of City Hall must change. This is my purpose here today, and that is why I am in this race. Not just to hold an office, but to gather with you and to transform District 7 and Lowell City. I want to win the next battle for equal justice and opportunity. I want to win the next battle for better funding of schools and after-school programs. I want to strengthen collaboration with my alma mater, UMass Lowell and Middlesex Community College, to tackle environment and business development issues. I want to strengthen engagement with community and police to maintain peace and security in the city. I want to fight for District 7 to get its fair share of the budget. I want to fight for affordable housing for homeless and to provide mental health for the sick. As an information technology professional, I will work with the City Hall with the City Hall IT department to implement data security measures to train city employees to better manage computer system to prevent another system shutdown and public information compromise. You can join me in this uncertain journey and feel destiny calling us. I see a future of endless possibilities for us. I sense that the time is now to get to work. I am ready to take up this course and march with you and work with you to move Lowell forward. So vote, come November 7, vote for Fru Nkimbeng.
All right. Thank you, Fru. Paul, to you, your opening statement, please.
Thank you, Ted, and thank you to Inside Lowell for this opportunity. And thanks, my friend Fru, for running. Hello, I'm Lowell City Councilor Paul Ratha. I'm representing the District 7, and including the Acre. My first term in the office is about reshaping the visions and the direction of the city of Lowell, including District 7. And I humbly ask for your vote November 7 to send me back to the City Council to implement those visions. As you know, my wife and I, my family came from Cambodia 40 years ago. I came early than my wife's family. And my wife came to Lowell, and we lived in Lowell for 40 years. My wife go to the school, public school here in Lowell, and she's attended the UMass Lowell, graduated with a business degree. We have 4 children, and all our children attending public school, the Bartlett School plus the Lowell High School, and then they are now living and working in Lowell. My priorities, as I have done in the past 2 years, is to implement the acronym of the ACRE. A stands for Affordable Housing and Infrastructure. C for Community Safety and Quality of Life. R for Respect and Honor our veterans and elders. E for Economic Development, Education, and Environment. As you know that I have voted to appropriate the money from the Community Preservation Act to support 3 major housing development in the Acre. One is the Acre Crossing, where the JDCU headquarters used to be. There will be a 33 apartment. It's a mixed use. First floor will be commercial and JDCU office space as well. Out of that 33, 17 will be housing owned by families of low-income family that help build the generational wealth. The second one is 555 Merrimack Street, the sober house developed by the CBA that will provide a 32 affordable housing for people in recovery, so that to get their life back on track and eventually become homeowner themselves. Lastly, the big one is 733, 735 Broadway Street. It's the headquarters of where food bank is used to be. There will be a 52 all affordable housing rental. It was inaugurated and supported by the governor, lieutenant governor, and the secretary of housing came to Lowell back in May to announce the grants for that development. So the whole acre, as part of the affordable housing and infrastructure, will be renovated, and then all that section of Broadway along with Merrimack Street and Market Street will be a really nice and attractive for the acre. I will touch on the public safety as part of the C, R, and E down the road later. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.
All right. Thank you to both of you. Let's begin with the questions. Paul, you get to answer first. As I mentioned in the introduction, you are the first counselor to serve as the acre, the District 7
Yes.
representative. Just switched to that system, had the election in 2021, and you were sworn in January of 2022.
Yes.
So looking on that first term, how has it worked for your neighborhood? Have districts like yours, the acre, have they benefited as much as people who pushed for the change anticipated?
For me, it is beneficial, and now people start to realize that if they need help, they know who to call. And as recently, a Latino family lived on Merrimack Street. Her granddaughter was hit by a car crossing Merrimack Street from one side to the next, where the Aiken Street and the corner with the Aiken and Merrimack Street, where the former Saint Jean Baptist Church. So she reached out to me during the candidate night, and she told me about that there is no crosswalk painted on Merrimack Street and Aiken Street. So I reached out to the city manager's office, and it was painted the next day. So more and more people are aware of this. Another situation, the family lived at the corner of Broadway and Suffolk Street, complained about so many accident that people would turn from the Greek school as traveling west on Broadway, and then they went so fast and they hit either the bridge and the building at the corner of Broadway and Suffolk Street. So I met with them, and then I made the motion to make that Suffolk Street a one-way street from Broadway if you go south toward the Fletcher Street. So the city have just implemented a 60-day trial, turning that into a one-way street. So people realize that this is what I can do. This is who to call if I have issues in the acre. So for me, it is working. But remember, the acre is one of the two districts that minorities are majority. These people are from different places. They don't speak English, low-income family, so they're not accustomed to go up to the city hall, speak like we saw Tuesday night. So they are happy to have me, and they call me to tell me what their feelings are. So this is working, but it's a working in progress. They would get involved, they would talk about it, and hope some of them start to register to vote and all of that, and eventually they will feel comfortable that fully participate, just like any immigrants group who came, Greeks and Irish, and then the French Canadian and all.
Okay, thank you for that. Fru, do you believe district representation has worked as folks had hoped, in particular for the acre?
Well, it's not me believing, it's what, when I walk the trail of this campaign, I listen to what people say. In this campaign, I have learned quite a lot, and the people have educated me, because I believe that I walk the street, walk the driveway, the alleys, and talk to people. I don't drive past by. And what I have noticed is that, and heard from the people, is that they're asking me that, wow, this is the first time that they have seen someone come and talk to them. And as I walk around too, I go with registration forms. Some of them say, oh, really? I mean, it is wonderful. And some of them even tell me that their street lights were off for their streets for quite a number of weeks. They call, nobody paid attention, and that their trash, and that there was promise that the streets will be clean, will be kept clean, and the parks will be kept clean, and that just on occasionally they will come there and then they will see their representative. And having listened from these very people, I engage them and I talk to them, and I really feel that it is my responsibility to listen to them and to be the voice for them at City Hall. And that is what I am running for this race. And I feel that if the people will be judged, they will be the one to judge. If you know that you have been adequately represented and served for the past 2 years, it's up to the people to make that choice.
Okay, and we'll get to do that. Early voting starts, I believe, exactly 1 week from today. As a matter of fact, on October 25th.
Yeah.
Right. So next question, I'm going to start with you, Fru. What is the most pressing need in District 7 today?
The most pressing need in District 7 today is really affordable housing, and as well as education, after school programs. Because when I talk to these parents, most of them who are immigrants like myself, I have 4 wonderful children. They went through the Lowell public school and they have graduated. They are working now. And I remember those days without these non-profit organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, the Girls Inc., CTI, CBA, offering all this after-school program. It was really a help, because I believe that education starts in the house, then goes to school. And then what about the after-school program when some of the immigrant parents are working 2-3 jobs? So having these after-school programs give them that comfort that they are taking care of the future, which is the future of Lowell and the future of the nation. I believe that I would really be on the city council to enforce that those programs are taken care of. They talked about security. What about security? About that their neighborhoods, they really want to be secured. I said I have, for almost 30 years, I have worked with the police. I've worked with 4 police commissioners, Ed Davis, Ken LaValle, Taylor, and Kelly. I even traveled to Washington, D.C. and attended the chiefs of police conferences with Commissioner Ed Davis to really sensitize the police about immigrant perspective. Why? Because, we immigrants, we come from a country, from an area where our perspective is different from the city, the police here and the system here. So a good example is if in Cameroon and all the other African countries and third world, if the police stops you to ask for your papers, you get out of your car to go and give your papers. But in this country, getting out of your car can cost your life. That not withstanding, not blaming the police because they are doing what they are doing. They have seen their colleagues or so on the line of duties. So with that, it helps the police bridge the gap between the community and the police. So that's most of the things that I listed, and I feel that to encourage community policing, which started in the late 90s with Commissioner Ed Davis, bringing the police in the community, and I equally worked on that to bring the police to attend immigrant churches. And that really creates a bond and bridge that friendship between the police, knowing that behind the blue, you have a brother, you have a sister, you have a father, you have an uncle.
Okay. Paul, to you, what's the most pressing need in the District 7 today?
Well, the pressing need is the acronym of the ACRE that I mentioned earlier. It's A, C, R, and E, affordable housing and infrastructure. I spoke about that a little bit already. And C stand for community safety and quality of life. R for respect our veterans and honor our seniors. R is for economic development, education, and environment. To me, right now, it's important part is the community safety and the quality of life. During the budget hearing for 2024 budget and previously 2023 budget, I vote to support the budget to support our firefighters, our public safety, including the $60 million for public safety, $35 million for police department to hire more police officers, continue community policing, implementing the body cam program. $25 million for the fire department to eliminate brownouts. Remember, used to be the fire department, firehouse used to close, take turn. So as a councillor, we eliminate that brownouts, and we want to hire more firefighters to reduce the overtime costs. And APA funding allow the city, this councillor to approve and fund 10 more new fire trucks. So for the quality of life, it has to do with all these affordable housing and infrastructure changes that will provide a safe house for the people, and they feel safe at home, and all the street and roads are being taken care of with proper lightings, with trees, and the parks where people can enjoy with family and to raise a family. And I want people to know that my first motion when I was elected and sworn in on January 3rd, 2022, is promise I file a first motion to bring back the laying the wreath and to place American flag and all the gold star poles and square throughout the city that was not done in the past 20 years. I was approached by Gold Star family and asked me to bring that back if I'm elected, which I did, and also bring back the hometown hero banners. That mean all the veterans and including the 4 police officers that was killed in the line of duties, their pictures on the wall of the city hall. So I was able to bring back that, and then I sponsor these banners. And if you go to the JFK Plaza where the police department is, you'll see the 4 police officers that was that died in the line of duties, and then also the veterans that serve our country. And also we vote as a councillor to provide services to the Lowell Senior Center for free and reduced meals and other activities, including the weekend meals for us, our seniors. So the last important portion for me is to help the businesses. ARPA funding allow the city to provide funding for these businesses, and I'm proud to say that I had something to do with bringing some of these business to the acre. For example, Tasty Dumpling, they are well known in Miami, Florida. I was able to bring them to the downtown near the city hall. And Gormley Cafe used to be on East Merrimack Street. I was able to bring them to the current location at 335 Market Street near the city hall next door to the Tasty Dumpling, and then connect them with the city economic development. I work with other small business. As a small business owner myself, I understand what the challenge of being owner of small businesses, and they need helps. And these small businesses is a lifeline of any cities and town and the country. They provide jobs not just for their family, but also the economic growth in the city like Lowell. Thank you.
Okay, so you both touched on a number of things there that I want to get a little bit more specific on. Let's start first with public safety. Paul, this will go to you. Are the residents in your district safe? And as a follow-up to that, when you speak to them, when you're both out on the campaign trail, do they feel safe?
For me, as I mentioned earlier, most of the residents in the acre are immigrants, refugees. They came from other countries, including Cambodia. That law enforcement is someone to be afraid of, to be feared. So my job is to educate the people, not just the resident, but also work with the police department. And the police department has been very responsive. In my previous life, the public safety for the state, I worked for the state, and also later the Attorney General's office in the Civil Rights Division. My job is working with the Lowell Police Department, including at Davis. We create the community policing, and we work with the district attorney at the time, and was able to hire the first 2 Cambodian police officers. So right now the force is really grown and then represent very much the community, the face of the community. This help alleviate of the fear, but also allow the resident to feel comfortable to talk to one of the officers who look like them, speak the same language as them. So this is the progress that the city have made for the past 40 years, and I'm proud to be part of this, and we'll continue to do that. And the new chief, Hudon, is very responsive. to the community. The more police officers on a foot patrol and cars in every neighborhood, and the acre is fortunate to have a substation on Broadway Street that the police will be there, and sometimes we see them walk around. So the community still afraid of the police, but now they feel comfortable, they feel at home, they feel like they can talk to the police officer. So I'm really proud of my work in the past 2 years to smooth and connect the community and the law enforcement officers.
All right, thank you for that, Fru. Is the Acre neighborhood safe, and do the residents and people who do business there feel safe?
Well, I will give credit to the Lowell police officers. Safety is the visibility of the police. When I drive the street, I see the police. Just an example of to you. Last Sunday, we were walking the streets. I was trying to take a selfie. I forgot her name, this female police officer. She saw me struggling to take a selfie with my friends. Guess what? She went and parked the police car and came and helped and took a picture of us. There were some people in the car that were passing. They watched her, and then some knew me. After that, they called me and said, wow, this is what the police should do. You see, and I believe that when the police come into our community, they make themselves friends of the community. And as I told you, for almost 30-something years now, I have worked with 4 chiefs of police. I walked into the superintendent of police office. I say, you know what, chief, it is a good idea to bring the police into my community. Coming from the third world and in Africa, we are scared of the police sometimes. But when I walked into their office, they looked at me and said, Fru, well, maybe that's a good idea. Superintendent of Police Ken Levale brought 15 police officers to Christ Jubilee Church. The video is out there. You see this officer, Superintendent Kelly. You see him carrying black babies and these kids playing with them. That message, that picture there, when those kids are walking the streets, they see the officer, they will say, hi, officer, hi, uncle. They run to them, and that is building bridges. So you see, with that work, the only female captain who's a police officer now, I walked with her. I accompanied her and Commissioner Ed Davis to a meeting in California and all along. So you will see that working with the police and trying to build security is not something now. Those days, I was volunteering my time, not being paid for, because I knew that coming from outside, it's better I bring this idea to help my community, and I have always been active in that. So I really feel that my community is, I would say, in terms of safety, they are happy because the police are always visible, even though there are pedestrians walking around, but the cameras also help. So what I encourage people in the community is, when you see something, say something and call the police.
Very interesting answers, because there was a time I grew up, I was born and raised on Adams Street in Lowell, and there was a time shortly thereafter where you didn't even drive by. And it was through a lot of the acre, and to hear the two of you give those answers was fascinating to me. Let's talk about housing, because you've both said affordable housing. And Paul, you mentioned a lot of big developments that are taking place in your district. Is too much of the city's housing burden falling on the acre? It's already one of the most crowded neighborhoods, and yet that's where all the big housing developments seem to be going. Fru, I'm going to start with you. Is the acre neighborhood being asked to take on too much in terms of housing?
I don't really believe so, but I see that even if there is a lot coming in the acres, some of these high, expensive properties, they are not really serving the low-income people. And when we talk about housing, I would first, if I am on the city council, I think the first thing I would do is I will actually pass a motion to take inventory of the vacant houses that are in the neighborhood, in the acres, the Lowell Highlands. When you drive past by, there are most of these houses that are abandoned. These houses that are abandoned are houses that the city can actually finance neighborhood development to bring them. Because as they are abandoned, what does it do to property in that area? It brings down the value of the property. And then when we also talk in Lowell about affordable housing that they need so very much, when you walk around town, you would believe with me that there are so many public vacant buildings. It's only recent that I think there was a motion on the city council now to tear down the Smith Baker building, which used to be the senior citizen. And that has been abandoned for so many years, and that is going to cost the city council a lot of money. So if we take inventory of all these vacant buildings, I think that could really solve most of the problem. But I will equally give credit to non-profit organizations like CTI, CBA. They are doing a tremendous job. If I'm sitting on the city council, I think I will work with these institutions that already have a system in place to see how they can really work together to be able to help alleviate this. And I will also challenge Councillor Yem that he is a realtor. This is an area where you should be an expert in it to bring a lot of your expertise for many, many years, and being a business person in that field. I would also see what is it that you have really brought in the acres that is very prominent and that we should be proud of.
Going to get to you in a quick second, Paul, but just a quick follow-up to that. When you talked about taking vacant properties, you mentioned Smith Baker, but a lot of those vacant, I think you also mentioned vacant houses that are privately owned. Would you advocate the city trying to take them by eminent domain?
No, I'm saying that there is a program at the economic department whereby even low income, I think I benefited from that. You submit, the city can revitalize, finance this neighborhood development. Because like I said, I mean, if the city finance that, they give some long-term loans without interest. So these properties, they will start paying taxes. They will bring income in. And those houses that are vacant, maybe because the owners don't have the money, but if the city helps develop this neighborhood, it helps also about security, because these abandoned houses, you don't know what's going on there. And also the houses that are in that neighborhood, the value goes up. So I am not advocating eminent domain. No, I'm just advocating that if the city hall, if most of them are doing their job, they will see that these houses, if renovated, they are going to revitalize the neighborhood in terms of occupancy, in terms of also giving rents to the owners, and also solving the housing problem.
Thank you for clarifying. Paul, is too much of the housing burden falling on the
one neighborhood? Yes.
One neighborhood, yeah.
Yes. I'm proud to be the chair of the housing subcommittee, and Fru asked me what did I do to bring this housing issue to the forefront of the city. The city manager and the city council have put together a vacant property list. However, as you know, we are the country of law. Some own properties that are sitting vacant, and you look from outside, they say, why can't the city take that? It's not that simple. You have to go to the legal process, similar to what happened at 6264 Brand Street. There was a drug house that known to a lot of the law enforcement, the police. The city is trying to take action. However, the city have to go through the legal process to obtain the warrants and all of that. And finally, it happened on September 8th that, we have all these law enforcement come together to, arrest the people and to shut down the drug house on Brand Street, 6264. So the what we do as a city councilor. As you know that the law has been far behind on the housing unit just to keep up with the population growth. A shortage of about over 4,000 housing in the past 15 years. So failing to produce these homes, as a result, it's translate into higher rents and mortgages. 60% of low household are renters. Out of that, 55% of the household are rent burden. So what this city council and myself did was that we vote to change the zoning to lower the barriers to allow more housing development. So the city council vote recently to reduce the barriers in the downtown mixed-use zoning. It's called DMU. Change it that required a zero off-street parking per unit. And also, this new zoning change eliminate the special permit required for 3 to 10 residential units in DMU zoning. You may not know DMU zoning is stand for the downtown mixed use, right? The next thing what this city council and myself did is we call it MBTA zoning. The city proposed 3 transit-oriented development overlay district is TOD to allow multifamily residential development by rights per MBTA community legislation, which required a minimum of 15 units per acre located within half mile of the commuter rail station and no age restriction that's suitable for family with children. The planning board voted unanimously this past Monday to recommend these changes. No pushback. You know why? Because it's in a certain neighborhood. And then the city council, at the time we start out, we have a majority of the city council voted to a new ordinance for ADU, accessory dwelling unit, to allow homeowners to create a self-contained rental apartment within a single home that has a separate entrance, kitchen, bathroom, and bedrooms by rights, as long as meet all these requirements that's set forth in the ADU zoning. But as you saw last Tuesday, there was a pushback due to the fact that this would allow any homeowners to create an ADU in their home. It may affect certain neighborhood that people came out and all of that. So as you can see that this pushback, only this that has a pushback ADU, DMU zoning was passed, no pushback. MBTA zoning, no pushback. Even the planning board recommended, unanimously to approve. But when it comes to ADU, it's a pushback because the claim is that it's going to change the characters of our neighborhood. One of the residents in my district, the acre, say, what are they talking about? Like change the character of neighborhood. What neighborhood are we talking about? Is that white neighborhood? Because the acre, we have everybody's, neighborhood. So one of the urban planner and then housing advocate call this as a exclusionary zoning laws that they try to maintain. And that's what it say. It's what it mean that exclusionary zoning laws is restrict the type of home that can be built in a particular neighborhood. The common example including lot size requirement, minimum square footage requirement, prohibition of multifamilies, homes that can be built, heights and all of that. And this is when it started out in the 19th century due to concern about fire hazard and lights and air regulation. But subsequently, this is exclusionary zoning was used as a way to discriminate against people of color to maintain property prices in a suburban and more recently in the urban as well. While I'm very excited that more than 100 of new housing development will be happening in the city of Lowell, in the acre particularly, I'm concerned that the acre become more really congested and then carry the burden of housing production compared to other neighborhood in the city of Lowell. And that concerns me. In the meantime, other neighborhood kind of push back, so everything is kind of boiled down to the certain section of the city, the acre.
Right.
Jerry, but I just want to ask the Councillor EM that, I mean, as a realtor, you've listed all those motions. I would like to find out, we are talking about ADUs today, but if that was your motion, that would have been something that I would say that you're walking the neighborhood, you are bringing some motions to development. Unfortunately, that was a motion by Councillor Drinkwater and Corey Robinson that we are talking about. I'm saying that being in that committee, and did you say you chair it? What motions did you bring that would benefit the acres, your own district?
Sometimes you don't make a motion per se, but you support a motion that's supported together. The motion that that I support, put out by this counselor and myself, is that to work with the to allocate money, work with the Merrimack Valley Housing Partnership to provide down payment assistance to the first-time home buyer. I mentioned earlier, you may remember that the acre crossing has 17 of the 33 unit will be home ownership. And the money that was provided by this council and myself that allocate from, it's called CPA. I'm not sure if you know what the CPA stands for. It's Community Preservation Act. Community Preservation Act is that the city would receive a certain percentage of the closing of all the real estate closing in the city of Lowell, and then put that into a pool. And there is a committee called Community Preservation Committee, CPC. They would recommend all certain housing development and then bring it to the council. As a councilor, we vote on things that will be helping, home ownership, affordable housing. So councillor, myself included, may not file a motion directly per se. We co-sponsor a motion with others. And then when it comes to the council to vote, we vote whatever it is important. You were last night at the council meeting on the ADU. It used to be that 7 favor and 4 against. But last night, certain councillors changed their vote, right? But do you see me change my vote in supporting ADU? The reason I support ADU because you and I, we came from another country as immigrants, refugees. We came with larger family members. We like to stay together. So ADU would allow, if you own a single home, allow to create a basement or attic, one part of your garage that attached to the house into a living unit with a separate entrance. Will not change the single home into 2 family with separate entrance, bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, but it maintain the single home appearance as it is, will not change it. So I voted, I stand against it. Only 4 of us stand and vote for the ADU because I represent the acre. The acre has a lot of all the immigrants that are having large family would like to have a home of their own. So that's what counselor did. And then in my real estate specialties, I recommend certain to the manager, to the city regarding, go after certain property that are not taken care of. Last night, for example, I mentioned to the manager that a property on Broadway across from, not Broadway, on Merrimack Street near the City Hall, next to Tide and Lao Cuisine, it looked really bad compared to the rest of the building on the street. So the city has this program to enforce that owner need to keep their property up to date. If not, the city can force the owner to do. So I asked the city to look into it. If the owner doesn't do it, can the city would step in, change it and make the facade look nicer than what it is now, and then put a lien on the property. That's what the counselor does. We don't sometimes file a motion directly, but I can tell you I filed the motion, for example, to have the manager to look into fixing Western Ave, because that's where the Western Ave studio, and then take care of the wall at the corner of School Street and Merrimack and Middlesex Street. There was a wall collapse of this condo. My third motion is pushing that to have it done. So all of that has been done. So as a counselor, I'm very proud of what I've done, and that's why I asked the people to vote November 7 to send me back to the council to finish it.
Hold on, no closing statements yet. A couple more topics I want to get to. Paul, I'm going to start with you this time. What would you say is your signature motion from your first term, or the one that you're most proud?
I mentioned earlier that the R in the acre is respect and honor our veterans and elders. My first motion I filed was to bring back the laying the wreath and American flag of all the poles and square for the Golden Star family. They left and serve our country to recognize them and bring back the hometown heroes banners that are right now hanging at the JFK Plaza. Those are my really first proud moment. And then I mentioned a second ago about the collapsed wall at the corner of School and Middlesex Street. This condo have the wall collapsed for over 2 years. During my campaign, everybody tell me what need to be done, so I did. So then after that, where the gas station is Rock Street and School Street, it's really a lot of overgrown, and somebody put a sign right in the middle of the sidewalk that I witnessed a kids that come to the Stocklosa school riding a bike crash into that. So all of that taken care of. So the National Grid cut down all the trees along School Street near the corner of Broadway and School Street. So make that into a more a quality of life and look better. So those are really short term that I've done in the past 2 years of my
Okay.
term.
Fru, you haven't had the opportunity to file any motions yet, but if you're successful on that first Tuesday in November, you will in January. What's the first motion you're going to file? Have you thought about that?
I have definitely thought about that. And when I think about that, I see that Lowell is a 21st century city. Most of the laws that are in the books were maybe still in the 18th century and the 19th century. I think I will file a motion because the city council has the power to introduce and vote on legislation having to do with all aspects of city life, negotiate the city's budget with the city manager. So there are some legislation in the books that need to meet with the current times. And I think I will ask I'll file a motion for the city a lawyer, solicitor, to be able to examine these laws that are redundant and sometimes they creep up now, which the times have changed. I think that is one of the major motions that I will bring forth if the voters give me that opportunity to serve them. Because when you change the laws outlive all what is done. So I am very, very much particular about the legislation to see some of those redundant laws that are not current with current realities of today.
Okay, great. We're going to stay with you through economic development. Are there enough opportunities for acre residents, many who are new to the city, new to the country? Are there enough opportunities for them to find the kind of jobs, good paying jobs, where they can afford to pay the high rents of today or mortgages if they're fortunate enough to buy a house? And not just in the acre neighborhood, but also in the city as a whole. How do you believe that there are enough economic opportunity in the city right now?
I believe that there is a lot of vibrancy and energy and intellectual and economic acumen from all the immigrants that are coming in here. Because if you look, the economy of Lowell has been revived because of culture, and I believe that Lowell is really a united nation of cities. And we have the foresighters and the people at the city hall in 2000. They saw this. They invested in culture, and I was one of the ones who actually helped start the African Festival. I was the president of that organization for many years, and for all the jobs for all what I've done, I received a local hero. I am the first African to receive that, and I was nominated as the volunteer of the year, working with the police department. But to answer your question, I feel that these people come with a lot of business skills. Once the economic department can finance and support them, they will be able to generate employment and income for themselves. Because I believe that within the Asian, the Africans, the Latino community, they are very, very entrepreneurs. They just need to be helped. If you look downtown, the grocery stores and all around, these are businesses that are generated by this community. They are not only beneficiaries, but they are benefactors. The engines of the economy, the Lowell economy, is based on these immigrant businesses. So I would encourage that the economic department and the city hall should be able to give a helping hand, make it easier for them to get loans and work with the banks to be able to educate these communities, work with the small business association, and to be able to show them how to go about, and also to work with the colleges, the Middlesex Community College and my alma mater, University of Lowell. I had the opportunity to talk to the head of the department at the environmental department. They are organizing this pilot program in the acre, which will actually use the heat from the ground to warm the buildings, and that will actually limit our dependence on the fossil fuel. And the head of the department told me that this will bring employment within the acres, because they will send out ambassadors and give them stipend to go out and sensitize and educate the people. So it's always good to understand the partners that are in the areas to work with them, and I would like to involve the entrepreneurs.
Okay, Paul, to you. Is there enough economic opportunity for residents in the acre to work either in their neighborhood or across the city?
Yes. As a business owner myself, I see the opportunity. Previously, I was the director of the Cambodian American League of Law. It's called micro enterprise training. What we did is we provide training for individuals who want to start a business. After that, then we provide, it's called micro enterprise loan. We help entrepreneurs with the small grants to start out their ideas, and hopefully it will flourish, and then they can get the regular loan with the bank. So I've been doing that and help about almost 100 small businesses in the Cambodia town. I then became the clerk for Cambodia Town Committee. The job is to promote and bring more businesses to Cambodia Town. If you walk today in Cambodia Town, you see all these businesses that are flourishing because of not I'm not just talking, but I'm also a doer as well. I do and help. As I mentioned earlier, in addition to helping the business in the Cambodia town, I also bring the tasty dumpling, the Chinese specialties in dumpling. They are famous in Miami, Florida, and I was able to bring them and convince them to start at 355 Market Street in the city of Lowell, next to the city hall. And then I work with the Gormley Cafe and the city economic development. The city economic development and the staff are very committed, and you can call, and they have an inventory of properties and location where people want to start a business. I remember getting a call when Gormley looking to relocate from East Merrimack, and then the Office of Economic Development called me up and say, hey, you the realtor, you have any property? And I say, I do have a property just for you, and that's where Gormley started. So Sean Machado was working in the building department at the time, worked with the Gormley and help get set up and get the technical assistant, also financial assistant from the city as well. So there are many opportunities for entrepreneurs to start businesses. And this is where I'm passionate about, to bring more businesses to the city of Lowell. I'm passionate about not just develop affordable housing rental, but my next step as the chair of the housing is to promote that if you build 52 affordable housing rental, I would like to have a certain number of that dedicated to home ownership. And that's what we did in recent months, to work with the developer at the Acre Crossing to provide funding. The city provide funding. As a councillor, you may not make the motion, but you pushed it. You tell the city, you give the direction. This is what we like to go. This is what we like to do. And this city administration under Tom Golden, very responsive, understand what this council needs and what the direction this council want to take. Economic development, affordable housing, and both downtown and other areas throughout the city. So I'm very proud of my records.
Okay, final question.
And even just,
sure. Go ahead.
Just on that, I would also like to commend the CMA, because they organize a training session at their office there, not only for Cambodians, but it is open to everyone. And I have attended that, and those are areas that organizations like that that has a lot of immigrant background, they have immigrant experience. The immigrant community feel very, very. It is easier for them to go and talk to organizations like CMA, African Community Center here in Lowell. And that's why I equally call on our immigrant communities. You have these organizations that are there. Please go there. They are there to serve you. And know that they are the areas that you go there, and they will direct you what to do, because new immigrants coming here do not understand the economic system in this country. But when they go to these areas, they open the doors for them, and some of them who are coming here with wonderful ideas, wonderful business acumen, they would be able to get the help that they need.
If I may add also, give a plug to E for All. E for All is similar to I've done at the Cambodian American League. Is they provide a training for entrepreneur who want to start businesses. E for All is work for everyone who are the entrepreneur who want to start it. And then other nonprofit, including CTI, they have business funding and business training. CBA has the same, in addition to the CMA we were talking about. So all these organizations provide opportunity. As long as you have the vision as an entrepreneur to start a business, there are many entities that willing to help them.
All right. I'm glad you mentioned E for All, because I'm going to give Inside Lowell a plug here.
Yes.
Last week we recorded a podcast with Sofan Smith, the
Yes.
She's
director
awesome.
at Shari.
She's wonderful.
It was actually eye-opening for me to see what kind of opportunities they have provided. All right, final question, Paul. We're going to start with you. It's a two-parter, but the first part very quick.
Sure.
How would you rate the job the city manager has done?
I give him a 10.
A 10 out of 20?
Of 10.
Oh, 10 out of 10. Okay,
yeah.
so you rate him very highly. All right.
Yes.
So with that said, a lot of people are upset. 9% tax increase over the last 2 years.
Right.
I'm not going to ask you to comment on that, but that's a lot of money for a low-income city like Lowell.
Right.
Are you confident that money has been spent wisely?
Yes. Because what happened in the past, that city council and the manager previously with 1%, 2% tax increase. Why? Because the cost of living is going up. The city is just like our family, just like my family. We budgeted according to what needed. You know, if you want police, if you want the fire protection, if you want services at the city hall, you want trash to be picked up on time, and you want the street plowed during the snow, we have to pay for all of that. So the tax increase is to take care of all of this quality of life we talked about. Previously, it's just kick the can down the road. I mean, you and I, we talked about 2 years ago on CAP that, you know, the roof is leaking. Okay, put the bucket here just to collect the rent because we don't have the money. After a while, you can't put the bucket to collect rainfall anymore. You need to take care of the roof that's being leaking. So therefore, the city turned to homeowners who are, you know, who will help support this thing. Remember, the city, the tax is 2.5 proposition. The proposition 2.5, meaning that the city allowed to raise the property tax up to 2.5% by law. The city of Lowell has not raised that at all. So this new council say that we do not want to have the firehouse closed down. We want the street to plow during the snow. We want trash to be picked up. We want street to be paved and then fix potholes and all of that. Those that take money, and in order to do that, we as a councillor, you know, it's not easy to raise the taxes, but it's needed to improve the quality of life and to make the city a place where we can really raise our family and enjoy our life.
Okay, Fru, how would first part? How would you rate the job the city manager has done?
Well, you rate the job of someone if you see him in action. I had an opportunity when I attended an event downtown Lowell. The city manager was walking up Merrimack Street. He's talking on the phone. So I happened to run up to him and caught him. As we were walking up, he looked at the pothole. He was calling people to be able to fix that pothole. And then from that, I see that I have a city manager who is a man of action, not just a man of words. And with that experience, I give him a 10.
So you both give the city manager a 10.
10 of 10.
I like the city manager. I still wouldn't give him a 10.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, we're talking about a 10, but I would not really say a 10 because there's always room for improvement. And perfection is 6 feet deep, and there is no perfection all through. I'll give the city manager a 9.5.
9.5. Okay. I guess he'd be very happy with either one of you on the council. That said, a lot of residents not happy. 9% increase. And in your neighborhood, the Acre neighborhood, lower income neighborhood, that's a significant increase. Are you confident that money has been spent wisely? Has it benefited the Acre?
I am a homeowner and I pay taxes. The taxes are they take a lot out of my little income and also out of the other income from the other homeowners and the citizens of Lowell. But when I walk the streets in my district, I see that the pavements have been fixed. I see that the police drive back and forth. I could see the fire ambulance responding to incidents, emergency. I could see the EMT walk in the street. That needs money. And that needs, one of the jobs of a city councillor is to vote the budget and work with the city manager. So if we have all these services need to be paid. It only needs us to be able to, as long as we are paying and seeing that the city is moving forward, I am for to move Lowell forward, not to move Lowell backward. Even if it means that I pay a little bit, I will.
Okay. Thank you both for that and all of your answers. Time now for our closing statements. We started the program with you giving the opening statement first, Fru. So, Paul, I'm going to give you the first chance at a closing statement.
Again, thank you for having us inside Lowell, and thanks you, Ted, for this opportunity to speak to the voter of Lowell. As we have been talking for the past 45 minutes, that I'm currently the city councillor looking to get re-elected, and I'm humbly asked for your vote November 7 to send me back to implement those visions that I mentioned earlier and all the unfinished business regarding taking care of our business based on the acronym of the ACRE. A for affordable housing and infrastructure, C for community safety and quality of life, R is for respect and honor our veterans and elders, E for economic development, education, and environment. So my family and I live here for 40 years, and we are very proud to be part of the ACRE, and I'm humbly asked for your vote again November 7 to send me back to finish what I've started 2 years ago. Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Paul. Fru, your chance to closing statement.
My name is Fru Nkimbeng. Lowell has been home for me for almost close to 40 years. I have been working and giving my time to Lowell, and I believe that to whom much is given, much is expected. And the people of Lowell accepted me like a son. I have 4 children with my wife, and they are a product of the school system. I entered this race because I want to listen to you, the people of District 7, and also the people of Lowell, to serve you. To be able to serve you, I need to listen, to be your voice on the city council. I know what it means to be a bully. I will work on the council to make sure that the school system takes care of that. My son was bullied, who was the president of Lowell High. He was bullied, and he learned from that, and even the other children will learn from it. The people wanted me to have them dismissed. I said, no, they learn from this experience. They will be ambassador of change. And it is with that I entered this race. I have worked with the police department. I have worked with the community to sensitize and educate. I am a servant. I asked for your vote come November 7, that when you go to the booth, you think of moving Lowell forward, not moving Lowell backward. And if you know that you are satisfied with your current representative, well, the vote, the decision is yours. I am in this to move Lowell forward. And come November 7th, I earnestly and graciously ask for your vote. And Jerry, I like to thank
Inside Lowell.
Inside Lowell. And I also like to thank the people of Lowell for listening to Paul, my friend, and I. All of us are looking to give back to Lowell, but in principle, and I like to say that I would be your servant and to move Lowell forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you to both of you. A very lengthy discussion, but a detailed discussion. I think folks have a clear understanding of which direction you'd like to take the city in. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Jerry.
Thank you. Thank you, Brew. And thank you to all of you for tuning in as well. Again, we recorded this on Wednesday, October 18th, 1 week before early voting starts in the city. You can vote early. You can vote by mail. And of course, Election Day is November 7th. And make sure you tune in on election night, beginning at 7 p.m. We'll be broadcasting live on our YouTube channel and on our website, InsideLowell.com. We'll have results for you, analysis from our experienced team, our election coverage team. So we look forward to continuing to bring you more candidates forums and then bringing you the results when the votes begin being counted. So thank you again for joining us. As we like to say here at Inside Lowell, if Lowell is your home, Inside Lowell is your place.